Hi everyone, Alan Shimel, DevOps.com here at Interconnect 2017 from Las Vegas, show floor. Joined right now by Chuck Ward of Nationwide Insurance. Chuck, welcome.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
So Chuck, Nationwide is no stranger to DevOps.com.
No.
We've got the one and only Carmen DeArdo,
The legend.
the legend, the myth, the man, the legend, Carmen DeArdo. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, who we interview actually pretty often, but it's good to have someone else from Nationwide tell us what's
Thank
really
you.
going on there. So, Chuck, first of all, why don't you start with giving our audience a little bit of background on yourself? I think we're pretty familiar with Nationwide, but where do you fit in?
So I'm Chuck Ward. I'm an associate vice president there at Nationwide. I work mainly in the software development realm. I've got accountability actually over all of our standing development teams, agile development teams in the Nationwide financial component of Nationwide. So I've actually been at Nationwide. It'll be 18 years in August. So kind of came up the ranks as a developer.
Just getting used to the place, huh?
And just getting used to the place, that's right. And now leading those development teams. So
Great. So, Chuck, one of the interesting things, and we've, all kidding aside, we've interviewed Carmen many times,
Right.
and we've interviewed several other people on the Nationwide team. It's really a great story on several levels, right? One level is we're here at IBM Interconnect, and the IBM Nationwide relationship
great partnership.
is not, it's a partnership. It's not a customer-client relationship. Because I've interviewed Dibby Edwards from IBM and so forth. It almost seems that IBM learns almost as much about what they need to deliver to clients than Nationwide learns from IBM.
It's an excellent partnership. And funny you mentioned Dibby. Her and I presented yesterday, as a matter of fact, on just some of the things we're doing at Nationwide, how IBM has been a part of that, kind of our story over several years. But it's great. I mean, one of the great things we do here is obviously all the learning, being able to present, being able to tell our story. But we have several sessions set up with IBM and Nationwide and different Nationwide leaders that are here to talk about some of the tooling, to talk about what we're seeing in integration components. So it is a great partnership to say, hey, here's what we're seeing. Here's where we're having some challenges. What are you guys seeing? They've connected us with other partners who are doing some of the same stuff that we're doing. So, I mean, this week we will learn and give feedback and get feedback from others in 4 days. Just being able to do that with so many people here that otherwise we really wouldn't have that opportunity. Maybe other teleconferences and others. So it's great. It's a great learning experience. It's a great way to share ideas, and then for us and IBM as well to give feedback on. It kind of goes both ways. We were actually in a great session yesterday where we were kind of giving some feedback on a tool, and they had some feedback to say, well, kind of the way you guys implemented this tool may not have been the best approach. And it was implemented several years ago. There were reasons why we did what we did, and we're like, maybe we need to relook at that. So
absolutely, it's truly a two-way street, and it's not unique, but it's not the usual.
Right, absolutely.
And that's the important thing. The other thing, Chuck, is I don't know if our audience really, even though we do cover Nationwide quite a bit, some of when it comes to the way you guys do IT, Nationwide is very much, I don't want to say cutting edge, because no one in finance wants to say they're cutting edge. They're almost conservative by nature. But they are a leading the way kind of thing, right? In this. And, and a large part of it is due to people like yourself and Carmen and some of the other leadership there. How has that translated, though, into, definable business advantages for Nationwide?
Well, I kind of give you a little bit of our story, just at a very high level. 10, 12 years ago or so, from an IT standpoint, we had some struggles, when it was coming to quality, predictability of our delivery, cost. And that's when we started, some of our first transformations around Agile, Lean, really honing in on that development machine, right? We saw a lot of great results there. We were able to get faster. We were able to bring some of that predictability back into check to say, hey, when we set a date, we're going to hit that date. Our quality improved quite a bit. And that was some good benefits that we would see in that development lifecycle. The actual coding, building of the software. I think we had something like a 90% reduction in production defects. And,
Wow.
you can obviously, we've quantified that. There's a lot of, data that shows how much a defect actually costs once it's in production.
Sure.
Kind of where our journey is now is we did a lot of great work in that development space, but as the DevOps mindsets have started to come across and looking at that horizontal, and to say we still have opportunity in our plan or steer space, we still have a lot of opportunity in our operations space, and that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're getting some good buy-in to say, if we can do this, because I even gave a comment in my speech yesterday, when you think of disruption, at a conference I was at back in November, a person who spoke before me from Local Motors around Ollie, the self-driving bus,
Yep.
it's real. He was talking about Washington, D.C. is using it. Vegas is potentially going to use it. Massive disruptor in the auto insurance business.
Sure.
So our business is looking at us to say, we love your quality, we love your predictability, but we've got to move faster. We've got to be able to get things out quicker because we need to see what's happening in the marketplace. So our way of justifying that is we need to optimize that value stream so we can get things out much quicker, we can get feedback much quicker, and kind of a mindset change of, if it doesn't work, okay, pull it back off and we'll do something else. Which,
Absolutely.
for an insurance company, is a big culture shift. We are very risk averse. We like to focus and say we want to get it absolutely right,
Yeah.
and then put it out there. And that's not just a business; that's also an IT, culture. So, but people are starting to see a true business outcome when you can get something on the shelf quickly, and either, hey, it's working, we need to invest, or hey, it's not doing what we thought it would do. Pull it back off. You didn't have a lot of capital invested in that, and you can come up with the next idea. So
Chuck, one of the things I learned early in my business career was nothing succeeds like success.
Right.
Right. And we don't interview many losers, right? We interview the winners. But how has this success, right? I imagine at the very highest levels of the organization, beyond IT, I'm talking about the business, they're looking at this saying, wow, this has been successful. This has given us some tangible benefits. How do we double down? How do we accelerate that success to translate it even to bigger and better success?
Right. One of the things that we're doing, I would say one would be just the education of those successes. Carmen and I actually were talking yesterday. At times, we can be our own worst critic. So we're continually, looking at ourselves and saying, how can we improve? How can we improve? Part of it is just ensuring everyone knows all the great things that are happening, and here's all the great progress we've made, and here's where we're going to go to make it better. How we can double down, and I'll tell you exactly what we're doing at Nationwide, is utilizing what's already there. So we have I consider us a pretty mature agile development shop. I consider us getting even more mature in lean management systems and how visual management comes into play, from CIO down to production floor. Utilizing that to show where we have gaps across the value stream, to call that out, to say, look how more efficient we could be. So one example, we've actually started some tests, and we're just simply calling it a level 1 and level 2 to say, at level 1 from a DevOps mindset, how are we breaking work down? How's it into a small bundle that doesn't have a bunch of dependencies that can actually get pushed to the value stream quickly? Are you having those conversations with your business partners? And we have some criteria there. We're indexing ourselves. And it's actually showing up on CIO boards, business unit leader boards, on down, just to call out how are we doing, not to say good, bad, or just make it visible. The level 2 component is really that tool chain. Do you have all the right tools in place? If you're a business unit leader and you have a very strategic asset for Nationwide, but you're not on the right tool chain,
trouble.
We should be having that conversation. So using what we want to take what we think we do pretty well and use that to make it visible to others. I think that's where we can really gain some true efficiency, because it'll bring visibility to where we want to focus.
Chuck, so my background is I started several venture-backed technology startups, and we used to have a saying that we measure everything and everything can be measured. And it sounds like really that proving your case is a case of metrics here and so forth. But that's also oftentimes the language of business. When we talk about being able to translate IT to business,
they want
executives, that they get metrics. They get that. They may not understand DevOps from Agile, from Lean, from Waterfall.
Yep.
But they
They
understand
understand the metrics.
metrics.
Yep.
And so I think that's a key
And it's
piece
an
of it.
interesting, it's interesting because we do see a lot of our business very interested in that. What's can be sometimes very interesting in that scenario is sometimes when you're making a lot of that visible, it can cause some fear on the IT side.
Sure.
Right? Or some competitiveness on the IT side of, whoa, why are you popping up dirty laundry for everyone to see?
You shine a light on sometimes the bugs do
takes
run.
some time. We're still working through that. We've got some areas.
But
to do
that's
really
cultural
well.
too,
that's a
right?
definite cultural shift to say, this is how can we help?
Yeah.
How can we get there and compare to look who's red.
Right, so now you start getting into blameless postmortems and not pointing fingers and all of these kind of cultural things that, frankly, you could have the greatest tools in the world, and the road to Hades is lined with good intentions. You need to build that culture around that makes it happen,
a picture
right?
that we show. I think Carmen is actually probably the ones that built it. It's just a house of, how we kind of our house of DevOps. What's our foundational piece?
Sure.
A pillar of practices, a pillar of culture. And we talk a lot about that, but then we have the same slide, which is an overlay that says, if you don't pay attention to that culture component, all of this other stuff on the other pillar, you'll get some benefit, but you will not.
But you're really killing, right? You're killing the value of it. Anyway, Chuck, we're going to need to wrap up because we actually have a line of people to be interviewed here today.
Pretty popular place to be, huh?
I guess so, but DevOps.com is where the world comes to meet DevOps, as we say. But anyway, hey man, great job at Nationwide. You guys really are a beacon.
Thank you.
In the dark, or not in the dark, but a beacon for other companies in your area to look at as the example.
The opportunity to talk about.
Hey man, we always appreciate you, Carmen, and the rest of the team do as well. Good luck.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here on DevOps.com,
Thanks.
DevOps TV. Hey, this is Alan Shimel for DevOps TV, and we'll see you on another DevOps.com interview.